What's up, guys, and welcome to the next game Invitational. It's going to be the first game of the tournament. It's a pretty small one, but it's going to have quite a few of the top C teams going up against each other in a single elimination best-of-3 bracket. The first of which is going to be Team Satujua Tiga, which I can only assume means 1, 2, 3 in some language, going up against TNC. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Danelie. It's been quite a while. How have you been?
It's been a very long time, but it's actually really nice to come back into casting. And this team, Satujua Tiga, these names are familiar. This is a new reformed team, correct? Because I know 343, Yamate, and Ben. So,
Yeah.
do you have a story with this team, or is it just they left their teams and they just reformed?
I do not have any story.
No?
They used to be on the same team for a great majority of them. I don't know who Minerva and Kang are. Although
I know
Minerva
3,
definitely
4,
sounds
3.
familiar from some team.
Yeah.
I
I know
haven't casted any of them.
343, Yamate, and Ben. I know those three for sure, but those other two, not too familiar for me. But TNC, it's nice to see them again. I love their playstyle. And, well, I kind of like these heroes that are coming through as well. So we got Clockpick and Gyrocopter pick 4, 1, 2, 3, as well as TNC, who's going to pick themselves up an Earthshaker and a Clinks. Now, Clinks is a second pick. Is this typical for TNC, or is this a surprise for you?
Well, I have not really been huge on the C scene since I've been kind of staying up all night watching Chinese Dota. And I could say for sure that Clinks is not really a common pick there. As a last pick, maybe. But as a pick that's this early, hell, I don't know if there are any regions, except for C, that this is actually going to happen. So this is something that it's certainly going to be a little bit more refreshing. TNC have picked this one up kind of recently and kind of often, so maybe just going to slide right back into their comfort zone. As an opener, it is a hero that I feel can very easily be punished.
It is. I know TNC though, I remember them from MPGL. They normally like to run their Drow Ranger, but instead they're going for a Clinks. They actually like ranged carries in general over the melee carries. They can play it, but they just have this comfort zone with those ranged carries. So picking up a Clinks as a second pick. Now, what does a Clinks give you that a Drow probably wouldn't? Now, Clinks, you're going to have a lot of mobility just because you have the extra movement speed from the Skeleton Walk. You also have the Death Pact that's going to give you a little bit of a boost when you go for those ganks. And if Team 1, 2, 3 wants to pick up a jungler, then they also have to worry that there's a Clinks, you're going to be giving away some free HP and free damage in those terms. So you probably don't want to pick up a jungler with the Clinks around. So we've got some interesting stuff going on with the Clinks. And also don't forget, Clinks, he's one of those heroes, he's kind of like a Riki, where he has to gank for those items. He cannot sit in lane and farm. So I'm expecting TNC to be very aggressive with this Clinks.
If you pick up a Clinks and sit back, then you're probably doing something a little bit wrong. Maybe you should be looking towards the Desolator, just trying to tear through the, well, kind of soft heroes that 1, 2, 3 are picking up right now. Gyrocopter, Shadow Demon looks like they're going to look for that combo. Dazzle is still in the pool, and I do think should probably be the fourth pick. You could always go for like a Mirana or something like that, but just the rarity at which we see that combo going to make me think that they're going to angle for something else. Dazzle is a great hero versus Clinks. You may get the Clinks to a point where with a Desolator, with a crit or something, that he'll be able to just two-shot someone like a Shadow Demon and there's nothing you can do about it, in which case, you know, you can't do anything about it no matter what combo you have. But Grave is fantastic if you take, 4 or 5 shots to get killed. Then Clinks has to focus on someone else, and well, you could actually disrupt him and get away with that, or just pop him with the Disruption Illusion combo. For STD though, it's going to be Alina instead. It's a little bit more of an aggressive stunning setup.
It's still very nice though. It gives them a supporting duo that also has kill potential if, for example, their Clockwork has hookshot on cooldown, or if the Gyrocopter needs a little bit more space to farm. So it's not too bad to have those two together. TNC, though, they've gone for very defensive, control-oriented supports. You have a Disruptor paired up with the Earthshaker now, and now there is going to be a lot of pick-off potential just because there is going to be the glimpse there. Juggernaut as a fourth pick-up for TNC, so they're going to go for something a little bit safer in terms of the damage dealer. Now, I'm a little bit confused with roles. Where are you expecting them to lane this Clinks and Juggernaut?
I think in general, well, I mean, it's kind of easy to say, oh, you should just put the Juggernaut in the tri lane, right? That's probably where he's going to be seen the most often. That's probably the safest bet. And I think that this game is probably not going to be an exception to that. That being said, the best place I believe to put the Clinks is in safe lane solo. Like for them being the Radiant, that'll be bottom lane without any help. Just put them there up against hopefully versus one versus the Clockwork, and then you have a great lane for the Clinks. But it doesn't seem like the TNC side have enough power to go for an offensive tri-lane right now, so they may have to go for some weird dual lane setup with Shaker, Clinks, Disruptor, Juggernaut, and maybe looking for a mid lane, or maybe they're just going to put the Clinks mid as SDT are going to ban out the Darkseer.
I was actually thinking about a Clinks mid as well. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Clinks get a range buff for his right clicks?
I have no idea. Who cares? It's Clinks.
No, it's Clinks. But he's got a lot of, you could say, distance between him. So I would like to see a Clinks in the mid lane, but we also have to see what 123 wants to pick up as their mid laner, because they've got the Clockwork that's definitely going to take the off lane, and they pretty much have their safe lane if you look at the next three heroes along the line. So 123, they need a mid now. What do you think they're lacking in terms of draft? I think they've got a lot of control. I think they still need a little bit more damage after this. They have Gyrocopter, Shadow Demon, Lina together. A Clockwork isn't going to give you too much damage. So what would you like to see for 123? Maybe a TA?
Oh, that one's actually banned out, but something along those lines, yeah, definitely should be what they're looking for. They do have the flexibility of the Lina right now, and though Lina right after the Shadow Demon is very easy to say, oh, Lina with the Shadow Demon, there's your combo right there. It's still not too late for 123 to pick up another support and put this Lina in the mid lane. If it is going to be a Clinks going towards mid, then the Searing Arrows are going to be annoying, but not oppressively so for a Lina. Just being able to trade hits, just with right clicks, is something that Lina can do because Lina has so much attack range, but also with the rotation of a Shadow Demon, with the rotation of now a Kunkka, potentially, then she could definitely get some easy kills. Clinks, though he does do a lot of damage, is so incredibly soft, so we have most likely a Lina mid and a Kunkka support, although you, I suppose, can switch them up and put Kunkka mid. I don't know if I've ever seen a team run that, though. And, well, this Kunkka is going to be a little bit interesting, to say the least. Might have some trouble dealing with the Juggernaut and the Disruptor later on, as the SDT, though, you know, melee support, always a little bit awkward, so you really have to get a lot of action going around the map with the disruptions, with the Torrent combo, and when you have an LSA to set up for, when you have a Rocket Barrage to set up for, hell, even when you have a Clockwork to set up for, like, Shadow Demon can set up for so many heroes right now. Just being able to walk in, disrupt any given hero. Yeah, the Fissure will probably be there to help TNC disengage occasionally, and going for a Juggernaut with this type of combo of Torrent after Disruption is next to impossible, but setting up Cogs, setting up an LSA, setting up a call down later on, this Shadow Demon has a lot of flexibility, and it's gonna mean that, yeah, they will have enough damage to do with the TNC side, who should be looking for their off lane if the Clinks is gonna be going towards that mid lane. As far as heroes that are concerned, they should be looking for pretty much an off lane that's, whoa, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna have an interesting game. This is, I no longer know what's going on. Like, up till this Juggernaut point, yeah, the Clinks was looking a little bit weird, but for the most part, I knew what was happening, and now I just don't know what's happening, guys.
Oh my goodness, sorry about that, Mike.
But yeah, but now you get to come back and see this screen.
Oh, okay. So, techies. This is EU that's playing it as well. I know EU is typically in the supporting role, so support techies.
I have no idea.
Was it EU that actually plays support? I could be wrong, actually, because I put 7 and Nuji on the supports. This is interesting, though. Is this kind of a team secret kind of thing they're pulling off here? Maybe an offlane techies?
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Teehee, it's been a long time. I think, isn't he mid? Is gonna be a mid jugger? I don't even know, like, it doesn't matter who's playing what, because they have a techies and a Clinks on the same team, and I don't see where the synergy lies, but AU is already gonna go up towards the top lane with a quick TP. Now, we have seen a couple of techies picks kind of recently, and what I have seen from every single techies pick is a team instantly buying a TP, or the opposition buying a TP, and going exactly to where the techies is now, just to scout out and just to prevent the techies from getting any mines. It seems like that is the Clockwork's job, and it seems like right now he will spot the mines. He may even decide to eat them, because he will not die if he eats these 2 mines. But TNC with a very fun draft, and we'll see if it actually works out for them, although I do think 1-2-3's draft across the board is a little bit safer. AU, as aforementioned, is going to be playing the Techies with Teehee on the Juggernaut. That leaves 7 on the Disruptor, Sam H on the Clinks, and Noji's on the Earthshaker.
Okay, I'm playing on the Dire side on a 1-2-3. So it looks like it's going to be a solo top Clockwork. That's going to be played by Kang in towards the middle lane. We have Yamate that's going to be handling the Lina. And down towards the bottom we have Ben that's going to be playing our Gyrocopter, Minerva on our Shadow Demon, and lastly on our Kunkka. We're going to have 3-4-3. I haven't seen a supporty Kunkka in a while.
The battle begins.
And this is a pretty devastating lane setup to have a support Kunkka. With the bottom lane, offensive tri-lane, it looks like they may be rotating a couple of lanes here. So 3 heroes going up towards the top lane. Kang will have this kind of... is that enough actually damage to kill him off? I don't know. How much is a level 1 landmine? 300. Oh, that's definitely enough to kill pretty much anyone. So Kang will have to worry about that down the line. And this top lane should be on lockdown, more or less, for the TNC side. But AU is up against a more or less instant kill combo. Like, he does not have suicide just yet. He's placing a couple of mines, and 343 will eat 1 to the face. But yeah, I don't think this bottom lane is going to be contested at all. It seems like TNC are going to sacrifice their safe lane. And I don't know how often I get to say that.
Sorry about that, just had a couple of problems on my end. So Teehee in the mid lane up against Yamate, this is going to be a pretty good matchup for Alina. He's got the ranged advantage and he's going to be able to throw a lot of harassment onto Teehee on that Juggernaut. So we'll see how Teehee goes in this mid lane, if he's going to be able to catch up eventually or if Yamate is going to get the better end of the stick. Now, down bottom, yeah, it's pretty much good times here for 1-2-3, just no one there to contest them. So TNC, with this bottom lane pretty much scrapped, what are they going to do to make up for the fact that this Techies is going to get very little? Is he just going to run around throwing down mines and hope he can get a kill?
It seems like that's his only option, right? Like, if he goes down to this bottom lane at this point, oh, Yamate is in a little bit of trouble over towards mid. Got fissure walled off, and Shadow Demon's coming in. I don't know if it's going to be in time. It won't be. Teehee's going to draw first blood with a level 2 spin. That is the upside, of course, of having a mid Juggernaut. The downside is you're going to be harassed to no end forever, and you will need your bottle to kind of deal with that. But if you have support from the Earthshaker, which 1-2-3 just didn't see, then there's not much that you could actually do about this. Techies at this point, he's going to go down to the bottom lane, but Techies versus Gyrocopter, even when Suicide is up at this point, Gyrocopter should be able to survive that. It is going to be very, very damaging towards Ben, but that's about all it will be. So yeah, Ben is going to be able to hold on to this lane himself, and that leaves the Shadow Demon and Lina, and Kunkka rather, to do quite a bit of action roaming around the map. Minerva right now is going to spot out the Hasted Shaker, put him into a bubble. Yamate is there with the LSA, with the Dragon Slave. The right click should be enough, especially with the Torrent. Earthshaker, Haste Rune or not, is going to come victim to such a sick stun combo from 1-2-3.
You see that a lot actually, supports running around with the haste stream thinking they're a little bit too safe, and unfortunately they get overconfident, get onto enemy territory and get picked off. So a little bit unfortunate there for the Earthshaker. Now looks like there might be a rotation up in the top lane, and we've got our Disruptor in the trees here. Will it be spotted? It looks like he will. There's a disruption. There's also going to be the Torrent as the follow-up, and Kang, does he even need to do anything? I don't even think so. They're just going to finish him up with one more right click, and well, Sam H, what can he really do? He's just a Clinks. He cannot help the Disruptor.
2 Searing Arrows not going to do anything. Even, oh wait, it's, what? What is Sam H's skill build? Now, there are some situations where you look at a hero's skill build, and you're just like, oh, that's a little bit weird, but that's fine. Like, if right now Ben wanted to go for 2 points in Home Missile, it won't be standard, but it's fine because he's in a solo lane, and he's not up against a really threatening opponent. He can get away with pretty much any skill build at this point because he's getting so much experience. But in a Clink's offensive tri-lane, you're not getting a lot of experience. You need every single skill point that you can get. You need to max out your Searing Arrows ASAP. You need at least 1 point in Skeleton Walk, and of course you're not going to get Death Pact at level 6. Level 2 Strafe compared to level 1 Strafe is a very marginal difference, since this Clink's damage at this point is honestly pretty low.
Yeah, I'm not actually I don't really understand the 2 points into strafe either, so we'll have to see how it actually works out for Sampage, if he can actually make the strafe work or if it's just going to be a bit of a blunder. Now Techie's down the bottom lane getting solo picked off by Ben there, so unfortunate there for EU. He actually had the Suicide Squad attack ready, but I'm not too sure if he was saving it or if he was maybe hoping to try and get a kill. Not too sure there, but...
Now mid, Noji, he wanted to go for Yamate, however he missed his fissure, blocking the Lina on the wrong side, and then Earthshaker easily punished by the Kunkka with Yamate rotating in as well. I think the Techie just took a missile to the face, and it's actually level 2 missile, and oh, look at that, Clink's gonna die again. What a surprise, they didn't even need the sentry ward. Did they? No, they didn't. Yeah, you got hit with the missile, and then just a couple more right clicks. Long range from Flat Cannon, maybe he didn't see the bullet, since Flat Cannon bullets are impossible to see, they're so tiny. But 5-1 right now, and 1-2-3 are getting off to about the start I would expect with their draft, and TNC are about having the start that I would expect with their draft. I don't expect this draft from TNC to really do well in the early game. They lack any sort of real early game hero, especially with the Clinks being put in an offensive tri-lane. Okay, thank God he got Skeleton Walk. If he got another point in strafe, then I'm just out. I have no idea what's going on at that point.
TNC, they do have an early game hero, and it is Teehee on this Juggernaut in the mid lane. And well, some people don't want to say this. I feel that he is going to be playing a very important role for TNC to somehow catch up and put some pressure onto 1-2-3, because if the game keeps going this way, even though they have the Clinks and the Juggernaut, they're not going to be able to out-carry Alina and a Gyrocopter that pretty much need minimal farm for both of those heroes to come online. So TNC, they're really in a rough spot. There is Omni Slash available onto Teehee, but does he want to use it onto Yamate on this Lina? Looks like there is a rotation down bottom, and well, they are smoked up because we have Minerva and 3-4-3 heading down towards this bottom lane, and they've got 2 targets to pick from, Sampage being the more notable one. And we'll see if this gank is going to be successfully deployed. Minerva, there's a dust as well as a disruption, and looks like this Clinks may pop. Actually, the first hit's going to miss because of the disruption timing. They do get Sampage in the end. He's still there, but he's really hesitant going in because there's 3 heroes there, and he's going to hang on to it, not put himself into any sort of danger. But still, it's that Clinks going down for the second time.
A little bit of a messed up combo there from Ben. You gotta wait just a little bit longer for that first missile, and if you do that, then any hero, with the exception of Juggernaut, I suppose, is just going to instantly die. There is no way, I don't think, for them to kill off Teehee, but we do have AU in a little bit of trouble. He's farming up mid lane, and I don't think he should be here. Torrent is not going to connect, but I don't even think it's going to matter with that Laguna Blade. There goes the Techies, 1-7 now in favor of 1-2-3, and Kang in the meantime, he got banged up a little bit up towards top, but now he has his hook shot. Now he's ready to go. Only 1 point battery assault, so he's not exactly where he wants to be, so maybe it's going to be better for him to just get a little bit of extra farm, but so far this Techies has died twice. He has a couple of mine stacks in quite a few places. However, it has not blown anyone up yet, and as these heroes get tankier, it may not blow anyone up in the future. I believe there's only 1 mine here and in the mid lane and 3 in the bottom lane. I don't know how perfectly he's stacking those up, but it's definitely not going to be enough down the line. Teehee trying to charge in towards Yamate for an Omni Slash, will not get in range, and Juggernaut, he's doing kind of the best on TNC, and he's not even doing that great.
Down bottom, it looks like there was a bit of a jump by Ben onto the Earthshaker, but not really going to be able to finish off Noji, although up top looks like we do have someone in trouble. No, Sampage is just going to be hiding in the Skeleton Walk, and they're going to, well, 1-2-3 really wants to kill. There's a dust and sentries and everything, and this is pretty much going to be a dead Clinks. He was invisible, and he's going to be permanently invisible from this top lane. This is a really tough game for Sampage on this Clinks. Clinks typically wants to have that early game farm and then to come online and to start grabbing kills with his team, but at this point he's level 5, which is okay, but he's just slowly becoming more and more redundant for his team because a Clinks is not going to give you anything aside from right click damage.
The only way that Clinks has to ever recover into a game is to try to sneak farm and try to sneak towers. Like, he can decept. Oh, wait, we gotta pull back onto Yamate right now. Didn't even see the Thunderstrike on him until it's too late. Now the Omni Slash, that'll kill her off. Eul Scepter is being built on the Lina, so that next time that happens, she will, maybe save herself a little bit of time. But yeah, for right now, still any hero on 1-2-3 is vulnerable to that Omni Slash. Maybe actually not the Shadow Demon, curiously enough, but. Yeah, it is going to be a pretty easy kill there for TNC, a much needed kill at that, but again, it's nice for Teehee to be getting these kills. I don't know if it's going to be enough. They're going to force a spin out in the mid lane at the very least. Oh, well, maybe they won't. Torn is there, a couple of right clicks, and holy crap, I don't know if it's just me or if everyone's having this server lag, but I'm not having good times over here. No dropped frames, guys, so it's definitely on the server's end.
And it's off.
you sure it's on your end? It's not looking too bad on my side. I guess it's because I'm in Malaysia, so
Yeah, you're cheating.
I'm sorry. That's fine. So CS-wise, we're about 9 minutes into the game. We've got two heroes on the side of 1-2-3 leading. It's the Gyrocopter and the Clockwork. They're doing very well, followed up by Teehee, which you can say at this point it's to be expected because he's pretty much the only one on the side of TNC that's farming significantly well, followed up by Yamate, and then finally Sam H on that Clinks. He's having to resort to the jungle. And when your position, what would you say this position for the Clinks would be? Position 2? Position 1? He's supposed, what position actually is he supposed to be in? Position 1?
Yeah, he's supposed to be the highest farmer right now. Obviously that's not going to happen, and it seems like he's going to go for a Soul Ring, which is nice, but at this point, like, Earthshakers will pick up Soul Ring. This is about the time where you want to have your supports with that Soul Ring, with that mana item. So Clinks is, I feel, going to be probably a complete non-factor in this game. He needs to do so much work in this jungle if he's going to actually get any amount of farm that's substantial, and Clinks is not a fast farmer in the jungle. He'll be able to occasionally eat a creep instantly with that pact, and that's really nice and everything, but he needs a hand of Midas if he's truly going to recover into this game. I don't see any other way, but if he does get that, then TNC will probably get pushed in way earlier than they're really prepared for. And right now, like, they're not prepared for a push. If 1-2-3 decided to, you know, apply a little bit of pressure, turn the Ring of Aquila on down towards bottom, they can't hold this tier 1 tower. They can probably not even hold the tier 2 tower. They might even lose 7 right now, and well, they have Kang, who actually missed the hook shot apparently. And I did not see that one, I did not hear it, but still, 7's going to be able to TP out the tower though. Now it's going to be sacrificed, and what do TNC get elsewhere? They get nothing, a marginal amount of farm.
They're not even close to taking down any of 1-2-3's towers. If you look at all the towers, they're all relatively healthy. So with this push, TNC, they're just trying to make up with it by trying to get farm on these heroes, but you're farming a Techies who hasn't really killed anything yet, and this might be very tragic for EU. Dragon Slave, Laguna Blade, and, well, you'd probably think Techies was a bum, but that was a hero.
And I am not seeing any of these projectiles. I just saw Techies disappear. And Lina is actually going to go for a Necronomicon. This is not your standard Lina build, but it's also a pretty good one up against Techies and up against the Clinks. Yamate is going to get X-marked, yanked out of the Static Storm. Sick plays from 343, but don't go there. That's a big mind stack. 3-4-3, I think. No, I'm not talking about Kunkka. I'm talking about the mines. I don't know if that's going to be lethal towards anyone at this point. The Kunkka can absorb that one because he does have his chainmail right now, but still, that was a pretty smooth defensive play, countering the glimpse with the X marks. It's so rare that we see Kunkka. It hasn't really crossed my mind that that's a thing, but it definitely is, and Lina now, she'll be able to return to this fight, or they could actually rotate the Clockwork up here. He's going to eat the Mind Stack, and that will kill him off, actually. If Kunkka took it, I'm pretty sure he would have lived.
Do you think so? They're going to jump onto 3-4-3 because he was glimpsed back, and there's a disruption to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but looks like 1-2-3, the whole draft, aside from the Kunkka, is just going to back up at this point because there's so many heroes from TNC up here. So, much needed kills going away of TNC, and Omni Slash as well. They're going to finally get a next, final pickup onto the Shadow Demon too, so is TNC getting some footing in this game?
Well, I hope so. I'm going to take a quick reconnect to hopefully mitigate some of these server issues. So you let me know if anything interesting is going on. But yeah, the Necro Book on Lina, I mean, I guess she's not getting it for the Clinks because Clinks isn't a threat right now. But getting it for the Techies for sure, being able to see the mines herself and being able to clear their mines herself is, oh god, this is not any better. It's certainly very useful for the Lina. Would it have been better than a Yule Scepter? I don't exactly know. Usually you could get away with just, you know, sentries and eventually a gem, but Yamate is going to go invest most of his cash to try to mitigate this Techie's problem.
I feel that, yeah, I like the Necronomicon pickup. I don't think I've ever seen it picked up on Alina, but because it's against a Techies, it's just, it's a special circumstance that you should pick it up. It's going to help you with your map control. You can pretty much deward for free once you have that maxed up. So it's not a bad item decision from Yamate. I kind of like it. It just pretty much says, okay, even if we get a gem and we die with the gem, we're still going to have Necronomicon units to work with. So for a long-term investment, it's very much worth it for Yamate on the Lina, because also remember, stat-wise for Lina, giving her intel and strength, which is what Necronomicon the Necro book really does. It's going to benefit the hero as well. So, yeah, there's nothing that bad about the Necronomicon. Oh my god, Minerva almost tying to those bombs there, just living on a sliver of HP and also getting bottled up for by his allies. I hear a Shadow Blade.
Yeah, the Juggernaut picked his up, which is going to get a little bit worse in just a little bit once Yamate maxes out this book. Boat going the way towards 7, going to connect. But there is no follow-up. The run buff is on everyone right now. They get a glimpse back into 343. There is no Omni Slash just yet. Hookshot in from Kang. Right on top of 7 he'll go, and he'll take that kill first. Or the Cogs will. The call down going to slow down Teehee. LSA is there. The Healing Ward getting a little bit too far away from him right now. And now with the Rocket Barrage, Ben's going to claim that kill as well. It's only level 2 Rocket Barrage, but it is more than enough damage to take down these heroes. And now the tower is going to fall as well. And they finally see all the spell animations. So that was actually a real LSA. So it was going to be just 1, 2, 3 to clean house. And again, AU... he is, I guess, at this point, level 8. That's an okay place for techies to be, but has he actually gone for stats? He's at... yeah, okay. This is a really old techies build. Going for 1-point suicide is not really what the techies do anymore. That's a far from standard techies build. I know, I said that. But, yeah, he's just a minor at this point, and it's... is this enough to kill off Kang? It's not, it seems. He's not even going to try.
There's 4 remote mines, actually. 4 remote mines.
Yeah, it's like 300 each, right? Level 1?
Yeah, 300.
Not enough with magic resistance. But
Maybe
over towards mid lane, Shaker in a little bit of trouble. Gets put into a bubble, call down 1, gonna land. Call down 2, gonna land. And Noji is going to drop. 1, 2, 3, get yet another super easy kill. And man, they're just like feeding off of TNC at this point. And Sam H, he has phase boots, he has a soul ring. He's going to see the stack that's being cleared by Ben, and he's going to maybe get this kill here, because here comes an Omni Slash with the Juggernaut, the Shadow Blade ready. Yeah, Ben's going to drop, and they'll try to actually steal some of these creeps. With the Healing Ward, it seems like they will get a couple until the Luna comes in.
Coming in.
Yeah, Sam H got to book it now, and Yamate with the help of 343 should be able to clean out the rest of these. They will dust up looking for that Clinks, won't find him. So they will take the rest of the Ancient stack. It's still a minor win for TNC because killing off the Gyrocopter is big game, but I don't know if it's big enough.
They're going to need a lot more Gyrocopter kills if they really want to come back. The kills are helping the Clinks come back in terms of net worth, so slowly but surely these two, they're becoming a little bit more relevant together. So if they keep doing that together, just holding each other's hands and going for those kills, then I could really see them just slowly feeding themselves off of those heroes and hopefully just getting those items that they need. Now, there is going to be a invisible clockwork going into the Radiant Jungle, and looks like Kang wants to find somebody, but are there any squishy targets around? Looks like Sam H is going to be his target here. He's got no one around, so it looks like Kang might be confident trying to get the kill. Sam H is going to go invis. There's a hook shot as well as the dust. It looks like this Clinks may go down. He's just going to hang around in invis for a little bit longer, but it looks like he will be able to survive if the cogs will go down, and it will, and Sam H on that Clink's going to make a getaway. Little unfortunate there for our clockwork. If he had backup, he would have definitely gotten the kill.
He decided not to flare super early for some reason, and maybe he could have gotten even 2 flares out with one like a little bit further away. The Battery Assault is only level 2 at this point for the Clockwork, and it was actually being split with the Clinks and a couple of creeps. Maybe if it was just the Clinks there, then he would have been able to get that kill, but for right now, Kang is going to have to try to TP out. He will get glimpsed right back into a decent position, actually, because he has a Kunkka right behind him with the potential boat, with a Torrent as well. Fissure is not going to be thrown just yet, just one Searing Arrow, and up towards top lane in the meantime. AU, oh, he's going to make a clean disengage. Stasis Trap going to slow down the Necro units, but the Necro units, are they level 3? You bet they are. Yamate is going to clean out absolutely all of AU's hard work up on this top lane. And, well, I don't even know if the Techies is going to get any gold off of this. Usually you get, like, some creep kills by dewarding, but no, not this time. He'll get nothing.
So now the game just got 10 times harder for EU. As a techies, you rely on your bombs to give you some kill potential to help your team with a little bit of map control as well. Clink's actually getting a kill on the Conquer down the bottom lane, and they might be able to get Kang as well. Do they have anything like a glimpse available? Yes, they do. They're going to pull him back. And Kang, you are not going anywhere, my friend. You are going to go down. Double kill for Sam H. So Clink's is going to get some nice amount of gold out of that. But like I said, back on this techies. What's this techies going to give you now that your bombs have become completely redundant?
Well, not much. Like, maybe he'll catch 1, 2, 3 at a surprise angle or something like that. Bombs in a random spot can always get you a free kill or whatever, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be super likely at this point. The fact that Clinks is getting these kills is really nice for Sam H, of course. The Desolator is going to be coming up really slowly. Like, this is a pretty slow timing for a core farmer Clinks, but hey, it's going to be coming up, and that's really what counts for Sam H. And at that point, his damage, I mean, it's certainly going to be very high, but if we look at the detection state for 123, there's, of course, the Necro book on the Lina. There was a gem on, okay, it's now on Kunkka. Minerva has 4 Satchels of Dust, so yeah, the Desolator is nice for doing that damage, but the only way you get kills by using that damage is if you have the element of surprise, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be super common, as we do have a smoke up from the 123 side, and they are looking for this Clinks. They will not find him. They may have to wrap around towards mid. That's where all the TNC heroes are.
They don't actually have to rely on the element of surprise for the Clink. So Sam H can just sit in the backlines and let his teammates just pretty much soak up all the damage from 123, and then it should be okay. But he's in the jungle. He wants to farm. It looks like he's been spotted. Now he might be able to get out of there. There's there's actually going to be the callback. Beautiful ultimate coming out from the disruptor though to actually disrupt everyone on the side of 123. Omni Slash going to bounce onto a lot of heroes. They get the Shadow Demon first. Beautiful vision to keep the 3 heroes in place as well. And 123 they lose somebody and they're going to be sent back, as well as a BKB charge deployed. So big win there for TNC, but can they defend this T2 tower now?
It's going to be a little bit difficult. Disruptor so far has been one of the MVPs, if not the MVP, for the TNC side, yet killing off a Shadow Demon, that doesn't really matter all too much. The fact that they pulled out the BKB charge is a lot more relevant. They have a Fissure that's going to connect onto 2, not really going to help them initiate, and here comes the X marks, here comes the Torrent. There is no follow-up, however. Yamate still has a lot of mana, still has his full kit up online right now, but the tower will be defended, albeit barely, from the TNC side, as 123, they have to back up right now. Gyrocopter with no BKB is essentially a dead hero. I mean, he has the call down, but only level 2 Rocket Barrage is, again, something we don't really see all that often. Rocket Barrage does scale really well with levels. It does so much extra damage, but Ben, he wants to go for as hard of a carry build as possible, and I guess this is the build that you go for, but is that going to work out? We have a Clockwork scouting the Techies, but no hookshot, not for another 2 seconds, and then Techies grabs a Midas. This is, again, not something that we ordinarily see. In theory, Techies getting the experience and the gold is really nice, but usually you could farm pretty rapidly with Techies by just using 1 remote mine on a creep wave or 2 at level 11 or whatever.
I would have understood a Techies getting a Midas maybe if it was super early in the game, just so we got to that level 16 as soon as possible, but it's this late. Now remember, a Techies is going to cap when he reaches level 16 plus gets an Aghanim Scepter. This Aghanim Scepter looks like it's going to be super far away unless 123 gives EU just absolute free farm. So maybe if EU gets an Aghanim Scepter, maybe the game changes, because remember, the Minefield sign with the Ags buff, it's got complete invisibility. So any sort of high ground push coming from 123, they have to be careful about that. But if they see the Minefield sign, chances are they just change lane. So is this Techies going to become any more important because of this Midas pickup? I really need to see if this is going to work out, because in my mind, this Techies, I'm not liking it too much.
Well, he's going to join forces with the Clinks for right now. Gotta remember that no matter what state of the game, no matter how farmed or how not farmed a Techies is, landmines wreck towers. And with the Clinks there as well, they could destroy these structures if 1, 2, 3, let up for only a second, then their structures are going to start to fall. So that is something that TNC can do. Their Juggernaut and their Clinks have actually pulled on top of the net worth chart. Somehow that has happened, as Ben hasn't really been farming as fast as Gyrocopters usually have been. And Yamate, since the good early stage, got a couple picks, but since then has been a little bit slow because he was gone for this Necro book, which is, again, nice for the true sight, but doesn't really do that much outside of that. Kang gonna get spun in his own base. Big shot from the Clinks, gonna get that kill. Now here comes the Kunkka, but he'll just get Omni Slash to death, and Gem of True Sight now dropped. Teehee will get yanked back, he'll see it, and he won't react. The Courier's gonna snatch it in the end. 123 awkwardly teleporting in the hero that will probably be able to do the least in that situation, and it will be a tower trade. TNC are just getting a little bit more farm than 123 at this stage, because 123 are playing, I think, a little bit scared.
Yeah, they still have to be scared. You can't actually forget about these heroes on the side of the TNC. They have strong heroes, and if you give TNC any sort of space, any sort of opportunity, they're going to take it. And with those opportunities, they're going to start snowballing, and that snowball is going to be really monstrous. And for 123, they have a decent draft. They've got heroes that don't actually need too much farm. Yamate looks like he might go down. Fish is going to be coming out from Noji, but looks like they're going to back up. Tihi not going to expose himself because there are too many heroes in that mid lane for 1-2-3.
And now Clinks has a BKB. There are not many skills that 1-2-3 have that actually cut through that. So now we can actually stand and fight and not worry about his health pool too much. And 1-2-3 is just going to go for a push. Still have this Aegis on the gyrocopter. Can't help but feel that level 4 Rocket Barrage or a different item aside from Necrobook would have helped him get a couple more kills. Obviously, maybe then they would have to expend a little bit more gold in the supports. And the supports from 123 are decently farmed up. Maybe not as much as Shadow Demon, but 343, the Kunkka, has a mechanism, and that's pretty fast for a support. We have a yank back onto Ben. He'll follow up here. He'll throw a missile because he can, but he should be just fine. Yeah, they're kind of using the Lina's farm to deward instead of the support's farm, which is not something we always see. But right now, the net worth is still being led by TNC, and Techies is, not super far behind. He's
in the middle
not
lane.
great. He's
Yep,
dead.
that was a very, very dead Shadow Demon. It was actually Sam H that went in to go for the kill. He just popped the BKB and went for it. Looks like 343 is going to be the next target. Glimpse is not available actually, but they're going to be able to actually keep him in place. We have Kang in the backline, so he's ready with the hook shot. They're actually going to go onto Noji, and what is TNC going to do at this point? They have completely isolated the Earthshaker. He's going to go down Tihi. He's going to have to go for the spin because he was dusted up, and looks like everyone on the side of TNC is just going to book it. They do not need to fight into these heroes, but unfortunately, he's going to be caught up with the X marks the spot in Tihi. There used to be a Juggernaut there, but rest in pieces. That's going to be 2 kills going in the way of 1-2-3.
Yet still, this Techies is a pusher that 1-2-3 have to deal with. At this point, if you try to jump on him, he has a pretty big mine stack that should at this point kill off pretty much anyone on the 123 side, especially with another remote mine being added. He'll straight TP out of there, and this Techies, I often make the comparison of Techies to a Broodmother, a defensive Broodmother, since he doesn't really typically push a lot. He's usually more on the defensive side with his mines, but in this particular game, man, he is just going for the towers left and right, at least forcing the 123 side to protect their top lane, because they know if they leave the Techies alone, then their landmines will just wreck their structures, so they will have to cancel any plans for a further push. This Aegis on the gyrocopter now is most likely not going to be doing that much, but at the same time, this Techies, he spent a lot of time putting up mines in this top lane. With the gem on the Kunkka, every single mine will be cleaned out, and the tier 1 tower should be pushed. So 123 are still going to slide up to a lane with an objective, and they should be able to get that objective.
So at this point, it's going to be a rough game for both sides, if you think about it. Both sides are under pressure. TNC, they had a really rough early game. They're starting to come back, and 1-2-3, who had the advantage during the early game, they're slowly drifting off. So plans for both teams. 1-2-3, they're still very scared, even though they had that sort of advantage. And TNC, they smelt the weakness. They're going into these fights a little bit more confidently, whereas 1-2-3, they're always hesitant because they're so scared of those Techies bombs. So I like the way that TNC is playing. If they just keep playing this way, just keep farming, keep getting those pickoffs. If you see the opportunity to just jump for it, then I can see them really getting into the game. Whereas 1-2-3, they need to keep the push up, but they also have to maintain farm on some of these heroes because they're running a gyrocopter as a carry, and gyrocopter needs a lot of items if he wants to carry as hard as a lot of those other hard carries do. So he still needs farm. If they can just keep on chewing through those towers and slowly going up for the T3 push, then maybe that's how 1-2-3 wins. Maybe they completely annihilate TNC on the high ground push. So if that can work out, then it should be able to.
It's going to be a tier 1 for tier 2, disrespecting this Clink's pushing speed as 123 just constantly go for the push of their own. They're going to teleport the Kunkka back, and they actually have the Clockwork back here as well, but everyone else now at this point will, I don't think, be strong enough to actually go for this tower push thereafter. So TNC playing the split push role really well. I don't know how much of this was actually the plan for them, but with the Techies kind of slowing down any 123 advance, with the fact that they have Clinks and Juggernaut, both who have those invis abilities now, just constantly stalking their targets, constantly roaming around, it's pretty threatening, and now Ben is in a little trouble. Blink forward, Echo Slam onto him. He does have his BKB, but he won't be able to use it. The boat not even going to come in time for the rum. Sam H now going to go towards the Kunkka. Lots of damage coming out from him. Will get purged up. 343 should be just fine. He still has the mech right now, holding on to it for a little while longer as they do get the hook shot into Sam H. He's now trapped in the cogs, and he's going to get blown up by the Lina. That should be a dead Clinks, and it will be. But it is the Earthshaker to kill off the Lina, even though, man, I didn't see that actually land. But either way, yeah, either way, it's still going to be couple of kills going either way as 123 without the BKB on the gyrocopter just get completely blindsided.
That was a really big win there for TNC, and they could not have asked for anything better. And now with this opportunity, they're just going to go right down the middle lane for that T3 tower. And 123, they have no buybacks on those two core heroes, the gyrocopter and the Lina. So this is an opening for TNC. Even though they might not push that mid tower, at least they can do a little bit of damage to it, or they can just back up and keep farming. We'll have to see what they want to do because they're kind of congregating, they're kind of backing off, and we are going to get the TPs out. So no chance for them to hit on that T3 tower, unfortunately. But still, it's a win for TNC, and they need to keep on going in this direction because they're giving space to EU on this Techies, who's getting bigger and bigger. What has he got picked up? Actually, a full Aghanim Scepter. So we're going to see the power of an Ags Techies this game. The bombs are real.
Unfortunately, he used his minefield sign, whatever it's called, a little bit earlier for pretty much no reason, and now it's on cooldown because the cooldown's like, what, 6 minutes, something like that? Yeah, 360 seconds. Now that's cooldown right there. So the additional benefit of the hidden mines, not going to be shown just yet, but Techies at one point was like 6,000 gold, 4,000 gold behind the Lina. Now he's only 2,000 gold behind the Lina. 123 aren't actually getting that many kills. Like with the setup that they have, smoke ganks should 9 times out of 10 just instantly result into a kill for the 123 side, but that hasn't really been used yet at all. I mean, they've been buying a ton of dust, so maybe they're just strapped for funds, but man, they have so much detection right now, and I think it is just them. They're being way too scared of this Clinks. They should be more on the aggressive 123, and because they're on the defensive, because TNC are getting these precious seconds to farm up, this Earthshaker now has a 4-staff in addition to his Blink Dagger. The Clinks is incredibly big at this point, as is the Juggernaut. It's like 123 have conceded a greater portion of the map because they don't know what's in the fog of war.
I think it's not just the Clinks that they're worried about, though. Also remember, there's a Juggernaut with a Shadow Blade, and you have to remember, these heroes, they have the chance to rip apart one hero. So in a 5-on-5 engagement, or you can say TNC never goes 5-on-5, so in a 4-on-5 engagement, all they have to do is get one of those heroes in, rip one of 123's heroes to shreds, and all of a sudden the game is even. And 123 does not want the game even. They need to have that advantage. So they need the detection. That's why they're so scared. They don't want to get jumped on.
Well, it's too late for having the advantage because the EXP and the gold graphs are in favor of TNC at this point, and for 123 they have still a lot of burst damage, a hell of a lot of setup. They just have to make sure that it actually lands. They're just going to wander around with the Lina with the Necro Books active, just trying to look for someone perhaps, trying to clear out some mines, but Techies has made his home up in this top lane and doesn't seem like he has any plans in the near future to actually leave that area. TNC, their split push is pretty much non-existent right now, and 123, they're going to group up. Is this a smoke? They have 2 of them, but they're not going to use it just yet.
They're probably thinking that there's no wards out for TNC. 123 probably thinking that they already have it all dewarded because of Yamate and the Necro Book. So, TNC, 123...
That's a place where you smoke, right? They just...
Yeah.
This is maybe the path that they ran, just like, what? Okay, there's nothing there. Good job.
Do it with
maybe they were expecting a Roche? I don't think so, though, because Roche is down. PC problem.
It could possibly have been up, but I don't even think they scouted it. I wasn't watching Yamate, he would have been the one to scout it, but they also have a Clockwork that they could have just invested his flare into that and would have also known instantly whether or not Roshan was being taken or something, so... Yeah, it is just 123 super cautiously approaching this game, and if they get a jump on like Teehee or AU, yeah, they're going to be maybe surviving this Juggernaut. I don't know. He has a BKB, he has an Omni Slash, and TP, and 123 have a hook shot, so that's pretty much all they can do about that. TNC have 123 bottled up in the base right now, and I think that TNC might even be playing this perhaps a little bit too defensively. Right now, they're just camping out a whole bunch of heroes in their own base. Getting Clinks to farm is nice, but Clinks at this point is powerful enough to fight with the BKB charges that he still has left. And getting additional items is nice, but it's not really going to be sliding things too much so in TNC's favor.
Yeah, I still think Sam H has still got to be careful, though. If Yamate ever gets the Aghanim Scepter, Clinks is still at a HP percentage that he can still be bursted at if he hasn't popped the Dark Pack yet. So he still has to be careful. I think TNC, they just want to feel comfortable before they go for any sort of aggressive plays, because some of the games that I've seen TNC play, they lose from being over-aggressive. So they're trying to be safe, they're running a techies, they've got to just play carefully as a team, don't get picked off, just keep winning these engagements, and from that point on, once they feel they have enough farm, then they can go high ground. Because if you look at 1-2-3's draft, how hard is it to go high ground up against a Clockwork, Shadow Demon, Lina, Kunkka, Gyrocopter? There's so many defensive spells that 1-2-3 can use during a high ground push that TNC, they can't just go high ground unless they feel very comfortable with it. They're going to try and catch somebody out, but there's just EU on the techies. If he really wants to, he could just suicide out of this.
They have their entire team right now clearing mines. Like, yeah, you only really need the Kunkka and a ranged hero. All the other heroes right now are just completely unnecessary. They're gonna keep scouting out, looking for someone hiding in the trees, looking for the techies perhaps, but while this is happening, while the entire team on 123 are up here, killing off, remote mines, which don't give any bounty, don't give any experience, the bottom lane is being pushed by TNC, so I think 123 are just misplaying it at this point. They have to just invest minimal heroes to this and worry about this bottom lane, because Sam H is going to be pushing this one awfully quickly. Yamate is going to come back. Kang's going to come back as well, looking for a hook shot. He has vision, and there's a hook shot in onto Sam H. Do they have any true sight? They do have the dust, but a BKB instantly gets popped. Now Klink's going to turn and fight Yamate. Going to get 3 shot, but he does Yule Scepter himself, buying himself a little bit of time. Static Storm going to prevent a wall so that 123 can't easily go in. The Klinks does fall now. 7 is on the run right now. With Gyrocopter on his tail, he should fall pretty rapidly. Not that rapidly, actually. He got 4-staffed out. He'll try to deposit the gem in the trees, and, well, that's clearly not going to work. It is going to be 2 kills for the 1-2-3 side. What can they get off of this? Roshan is up, and they should have enough power to kill it off.
That was such a close call for Yamate. He almost died. Just needed one more right click from the Klinks, but great defensive plays there from 1-2-3. And as I mentioned beforehand, TNC just getting a little bit too confident. When they play too overconfident, this is how they lose their advantage. So they've got to just take a couple of steps back, just play how they were beforehand, and things should go nicely for them that way. Whereas 1-2-3, they just have to keep on capitalizing on TNC's mistakes, because sometimes TNC will make mistakes, and hopefully it's going to be enough for 1-2-3, because I think it's just come to the point where them as a team, if they try and go for some small ganks, there's too much damage on the side of TNC to safely get them. Like, they could go for, maybe they could kill the Klinks, but they might lose 2 or 3 heroes in the process, so it's just not safe.
It's going to be a little bit easier now that Lina has her Aghanim Scepter. She's level 16 as well, so a level 3 ultimate with that 950 pure damage out of a 1000 HP Klinks. Yeah, that is certainly going to hurt. The Roshan is going to be cleared out, or at least attempted, by 123. They do have finally lifesteal on the Gyrocopter, but Teehee is coming in. He's coming in real fast at that BKB popped Omni Slash. It is going to jump around with the Echo Slam there as well. There goes the Lina. No time for the Yules. Boat is going to come in, connect with the Rum onto the entire 123 side, but Ben, he's not really strong enough to solo kill Sam H at this point with no Lina. I don't think they have the burst damage. Sam H is going to stand there, keep on firing those arrows. Finally, a hookshot comes in. Going to connect onto Teehee, but this Juggernaut, he doesn't have a BKB. He doesn't have a spin right now. He's going to get a little bit of healing from his healing ward. Finally, a little bit destroyed, and now he's going to turn around the Clockwork, kill him off. One more shot from the arrow will kill off the Shadow Demon. Ben going to try to TP out. Looks like there was no glimpse in time, but that's a 3-for-1. Yeah, that was a 3-for-1, completely in favor of TNC, and up towards top, AU is still split pushing as this techies. 123 just get massively outmaneuvered. They get cornered, and Earthshaker Echo Slam with that Juggernaut Omni Slash, it's hard to resist that damage.
And also, Ben couldn't do anything in that team fight either, because they had the Disruptor ultimate static field in this vicinity, and Ben, he was on low HP. He had to sit in the Roche pit and wait for the duration to end, but by the time it ended, everyone was dead. So Ben on the Gyrocopter, even though he's playing position 1, he's just not powerful enough to really withstand a lot of the damage output from TNC. And Sam H, he's looking for something, and he wants Ben, but it looks like he's not going to find it.
This Klinks at this point has a Daedalus and a Desolator. This was a Klinks who was in an offensive tri-lane that just completely failed, and yet here he is going for Yamate right now. 3 shots before the Yule Scepter. Ben now in a little bit of trouble as well. No crits there, but still, this Lina, she has a Yule Scepter. She had a Shadow Demon right next to him, but the damage that the Klinks puts out is way too much. Now Sam H, he's going to get caught in the cogs, and with no BKB, he will drop. There is Teehee right around the corner. Doesn't have an Omni Slash, however. He's going to get yanked back from the X if he doesn't spin, and he will spin. That will help him out just a little bit, but trading the Clinks for Alina at this point, TNC don't really want to be making that type of play. And 1-2-3, they clearly do have the burst when they are in the right position at the right time, but so far they really haven't been or haven't really reacted in time.
But still, 900 gold going to 1-2-3, that's a big deal. And it also went to 3-4-3 as well on the Kunkka, so it's going to go towards a really nice shiny item for him. You're running a support Kunkka with a 4-staff and a mechanism, as well as arcane boots. What would you think would be an ideal pickup for the Kunkka at this point? I don't really see any items that stand out for a Kunkka, just because you don't really see this hero in a supporting role with this much farm. Maybe you just finish up the boots. Oh my goodness, Guardian Greaves?
Yeah,
it's got both pieces.
If with the amount of AoE damage on TNC, that might be a decent suggestion. For his personal safety, Ghost Scepter is going to be king. I think, like, I don't know, I'm just thinking, like, Ethereal Blade right now would be so sick for anyone at 1-2-3, just that they could save themselves, save their allies from this Clinks' damage, and there aren't really any other items that would offer that to you. He's probably not going to go for that, obviously, but man, how great would that be, just being able to instantly bail out your ally in one click. He's going to grab a plate mail, so it looks like it's going to be probably not a Lotus Orb. Actually, that doesn't do anything in this game. It returns Glimpse. That's not going to do anything. It returns Thunderstrike, so probably just an AC Shiva's type build for 343, and 123 now. They're just going to go for it, man. They're done with this split push game. They're just going to brute force the high ground, but this is not going to be your safest play because the Juggernaut still has his Aegis. This is going to put the techies on a timer right now. He's got to go, and oh, Blink Echo Slam going to connect onto 2. Ben is instantly going to drop, gets nothing off. Omnislash bouncing through as well. They do catch Jay in the cogs right now, but that's not going to do that much. It will kill him off, and actually now with the Laguna Blade, Yamate will take down the Clinks as well. Teehee trying to charge forward with that spin, but he's in between 4 heroes. Will get cleaved down by the Kunkka. And he will wake up into an LSA, or should wake up into an LSA, and Cogs, there it is. Teehee gonna pop the BKB though with the healing ward. He'll just turn around and start wailing on him. Who does he actually want to go for? It's gonna be Kang. No maims just yet, but Clockwork shouldn't be able to escape this. Although Teehee really rolling unlucky. He's gonna get dusted up with the spin. He'll get rid of that one real quick. And while this is happening, top lane is still being pushed by the techies. Someone on 123, they have to come back and deal with this, but do they have the manpower to? Minerva's going to arrive, but the techies can still stick around, and fight in the bottom lane looks like that has pretty much stopped. 123 just constantly getting initiated upon by the Shaker.
So from that push down bottom, 123 accomplished 3 kills and no tower, but they lose their own T3 tower up top in the process. It's not looking good at all for 123. They're going for the desperation pushes because they feel that they need to end the game now before those heroes become too big for them to manage. Kang just walking into a whole bunch of mines, and unfortunately just going to get picked up by the final one in their base. That's not a good way to die.
They have the Necro book, but most of the detection that 123 have picked up at this point is anti-Clinks detection. It's going to be for that the Juggernaut as well, the Shadow Blade and the Skeleton Walk. And the gem it should be on the TNC side. It is going to be held by the Earthshaker. So yeah, they do have that one now. TNC will be able to deny that one away from 123, and these mines are going to be relevant. And Yamate has to pop his Necro book if he wants to actually push up this lane. And again, while 123 are committing so many heroes up towards this top lane, the rest of the team, they're not doing that much, and the rest of the map is being pushed by TNC. Actually, no, they do have the gem still on Kunkka. Is that a fresh gem? I actually don't know, but either way, now they have True Sight, so they will be able to shove the techies out a little bit. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. They definitely can't get on top of AU and kill him off easily. They don't have enough chain stun to prevent the suicide at the very least, so that's pretty much guaranteed to get off.
Yeah, this techie's at first he was, you could say, the redundant hero, the hero that did nothing, and all of a sudden he's just making so much space. When 123 is busy down bottom, he's doing his stuff up top. If he's up top and keeping 123 busy, he's pretty much creating space for the rest of his team down bottom. So it's a win-win situation for TNC, and at 123 they're trying to deal with it the best they can, but the fact that they're having to deal with their techies and they're just giving all this space to the rest of the TNC draft, and they're just getting further and further behind. Look at EU, just going to be playing around with the Necronomicon units as well, and he's actually going to throw bombs to kill them off as well. Yamate in the backline, so he's going to be there with the stun, as well as the LSA and the Dragon's Wave, and Dragon's Wave and the Laguna Blade. And luckily for him, there was no suicide. He threw everything at the
No, he did suicide.
He didn't suicide.
Oh, what?
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 Okay, I have no idea. I have no idea what happened. Server lag.
No, that doesn't even. What? Server lag? That doesn't make any sense. You
This game's
suicide. You should
broken.
be. You shouldn't be give a kill. What? What?
I saw the suicide after his HP depleted to 0.
I mean, it's on cooldown, right? The 7's gonna
did
die
Yamate-
because he's in the middle of nowhere. He got spotted out by Shadow Poison, but what happened with the techies? Someone please tell me. I'm sure there's
did
some
Yamate
like
get-
interaction or something that I'm missing here.
I think the best way to tell would be if Yamate got the gold. If he got the gold, then obviously something
He got
went
the
wrong.
credit.
He got the yeah. I saw the credit too, but
Yeah.
did he get the gold? I think he did. I think he would have anyway.
I don't know why it would say he got the credit and not the gold. Well, now Lina actually with the Shadow Blade is on the hunt, this time for Sam H. Now, let's say free hand, and of course the Laguna Blade at the ready. That'll take down the Clinks. Finally 123 are actually getting some pickoffs, even pickoffs that might be a little bit suspect, but you know what? Clinks dropping to that Lina. That should have been Yamate's job this entire game. It was, in fact, his job in the entire game. To buy space through the nuking power of this hero. The fact that she had to go for this Necronomicon really slowed her down. If she had the Yule Scepter first, and then the Ags, and then the Shadow Blade, you know, all slid into the timing without that Necro book, then so many additional kills for 123.
Yeah, I would have seen that as well, but they wanted to play carefully. They picked up the Necronomicon, and I think the game just didn't go to what they would have expected. I was actually thinking Yamate would have gotten a lot more farm than this, and they would have had more map control with the Necro book, but it just felt like they delayed the game so long trying to de-ward everything and get rid of those mines that it worked in favor of TNC, the fact that they got this early Necronomicon. So it's still okay now. It's doing what it does, and it's, you could say, saving a lot of the supports on the side of 123 gold from buying sentries, but it's not really helping them win the game. If you think about it, the Necronomicon units, they're there for dewarding, but it's not doing that much in the fights.
And Noji is level 15, almost level 16 on the Shaker with an Aghanim Scepter picked up. This Shaker is going to be a monster, and he has already won a couple of fights from TNC, and it looks like he will continue to do so. The Disruptor also has his Aghanim Scepter. I didn't see the timing at which that was picked up, but man, those two Aghanims, they both hurt, and the fact that now 123, if they're caught in that Disruptor Ags, the Satanic Manta style BKB build of Ben is going to do absolutely nothing. The Lina can't get her Yule Scepter off, nor the Shadow Blade to try to save herself. The fact that Shutdown's items is going to be huge in this game, and the Disruptor is just walking around with such a threatening ultimate, with the Earthshaker being able to punish the clumped up heroes as well. It looks like TNC at this point might be close to strong enough to try to group up and make some sort of play. They're going to send the Juggernaut out in the front first. They will not spot anyone because, again, 123, they are terrified of moving out in the map. Yamate's still split pushing up the top lane. With his damage, he should be able to put a lot of hurt into this tower. Teehee, though, going to draw it off and make it so that this push not really going to do that much.
So at this point, what is 123 doing? Are they just going to go for that slow split push? Are they trying to go for those kills? Because they're all over the place at this point. They're trying to farm middle. You got Yamate up top doing what he's really trying to do for his team, which is push. But they're so scared, and they can't accomplish anything. I feel like Yamate is the only one that's really been able to do anything for the team, but they're going to go for a smoke now. So hopefully they're going to be able to grab a kill, maybe a tower, or at least something with this smoke, and they need something big. Are they going to be using Ben as bait though? They're going to hang around and wait with him. But no one on the side of TNC is really biting. It's just EU down here that would have been the one to go after Ben. Everyone on TNC is just pretty much doing their own thing. They're farming, they're scouting. They're not in any rush.
Oh, the mines are going to be revealed, and now AU should know that someone with a gem here. He's going to get lifted up into the air. He has suicide again, but clearly it doesn't do anything. Okay, will this time actually commit suicide for him, so I don't know what the deal is with the last one, but he will just instantly pop himself, and he'll get out of that potential dangerous area. It took 123 a hell of a long time to actually assemble for that smoke, and again, the mid lane, the top lane, they're pushing in towards the 123 base, so though they do take the techies off the map, it's not in a significant way. It's not in such a way that actually lets them get an additional objective. So, you know, that smoke, I guess you could even call that a failure. Like, Techie's down for 10 seconds. With the fact that he has this much farm is almost completely irrelevant. You have a couple of fewer mines to deal with, but that's about it. Well, they have a hook shot that's going to spot out Noji, but it's not going to connect. And Clockwork has another one in 5 seconds with that Aghanim Scepter, but if he goes that far ahead, he's just not going to get anything done by himself. So everyone else on 123, they are just awkwardly standing by and trying to defend.
I want to add a little bit more to the techies kill. They're killing a techies. If it was maybe a Clinkster or a Juggernaut, then maybe it would have been a much more significant kill, but it's the techies who suicided. It's a massive loss for 123. They're just getting nothing. They're not killing one of those important heroes on TNC. If they can get rid of one of the two massive damage dealers on TNC, which is the Jug or that Clinks, then it'll be much better. But it looks like we're going to be going into a 4v5 engagement here. So there's going to be the Echo Slam. It's going to be only onto Ben. The Blade onto Noji. There's going to be a very quick kill onto our Gyrocopter. That's already going to be the position 1 down for 123. They're going to lose the Disruptor in the process though. So TNC, they're going to lose their own hero. Now, are they going to re-engage or back up? It looks like 123, they're just going to retreat at this point. Everyone on TNC, they're not going to go for a push. It looks like they're going to go for Roshan instead.
I'll take that.
I like that play from TNC. They invest pretty much everything to kill out the Gyrocopter, and you know, when you invest that much, you're pretty much guaranteed to get the kill, especially when the Static Storm lands. They invested that much because the Clinks was up on top lane, and he was just split pushing the entire time, so they know that if they get this pick, then 123 have to fall back, and then they could actually make something happen off of it, and in this case, it's going to be go for Roshan. If 123 decide to go in, there are a whole mess of mines waiting for him. Sam H, though, is going to see Minerva, two-shot him, and that's going to be that. Roshan is going to get dropped, killed by the Radiant. Juggernaut's going to grab it. Kang is going to grab the cheese, will force tap out, so I guess that's kind of nice, but Noji's right on his tail with the fissure. Okay, that one is just way off the mark, so never mind. The Clockwork gets the cheese, but TNC get the Aegis, and now they could actually look to push the base of 123. Probably still not as a full 5-man team, and they should wait for their ultimates to come back up before they actually look for a serious fight, but another double life on this Juggernaut, and cheese in the Clockwork, or the Gyrocopter, again, not even guaranteed to be used, given there's a Static Storm with Aghanim Scepter upgrade on the other side.
I love the emphasis that TNC put onto Ben, because they know if they left Ben to do his own devices, then he would have had the BKB, the Satanic, the Manta Style. He would have done what he needed to do, but just take him out of the equation, and that's a lot of damage on the side of 123 down the drain. So I like that play from TNC. They're doing very well just to shut down Ben. Whereas 123, they're trying to do their own counter plays, but they're in a very difficult spot that they just can't do it. They don't have the damage. You're running a support Kunkka. It's not something like, for example, maybe if this Kunkka had farm, then maybe he would have been able to do a little bit more damage. And maybe if the Lina was in a supporting role, then Lina would still be relevant even as a support, just because there's always going to be the soft catcher to fall back onto with the Shadow Demon. So, bit of an odd situation, and Ben, he has to pop the BKB, and looks like they're going to try and jump on the Tiki, but this, remember, there's a Juggernaut with the second life. Sam H doing what he can on the high ground, doing a lot of damage to Kang. Clockwork's going to back up. There's ultimate thrown out by our Shadow Demon onto our Juggernaut. Looks like he's going to be able to get the Omni Slash off in the last second with his BKB, and we also have 3 heroes going to go down for 123. It's the Lina, the Clockwork, and our Gyrocopter. And looks like there's going to be a glimpse. It will be connecting onto Minerva. That's going to be the Shadow Demon down 2. And that's going to be the GG call for Conquer. 3-4-3, 1-2-3. They know they can't win this.
This has been one of the weirdest freaking games I've ever seen. Pretty much no questions asked. Like, so many things went wrong here for 123. They handled the early game very, very well, and I don't think anyone is really going to object to that. But even with even with the early game that they actually have acquired, they just couldn't hold on to that lead. Like, they got the rotations, but once they actually stopped rotating, then it was pretty much just all over. They ended up doing essentially nothing, and well, that's never something that you want to be doing in Dota. You always want to be doing something, and if what you're doing involves just sitting back and clearing out mines as an entire team, then you know that you're in a sticky spot. So TNC played this super patient game. Like, usually you don't see this much patience from a team that's that far behind, but if you get 30, 48 minutes to farm, then sure, go ahead, do whatever you want.
Yeah, so it was a really tough spot there for 123. They did really well in the early game. They managed to shut down a lot of TNC's maneuverability. They shut down the Clinks for a very long time. It was pretty much Teehee that was really doing anything in the fight. So the fact that they managed to come back from such an awkward position and to really control 123, it was a really good play from TNC. They worked very well as a team. You could see the rotations that they knew what their game plan was. They knew what they were doing, whereas 123, as the game progressed, they really lost themselves, and it felt like their game plan just deteriorated, and after a certain point that you could really tell that they were really lost. So good stuff for our, was it a Filipino squad, TNC? They did very well that game.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do well in the next game, because this is the best of 3, so not over just yet. 123, maybe just caught off guard by this Techies Clinks pseudo combo, and they're going to be a little bit on tilt, perhaps. But TNC, they're looking pretty good, assuming they get through the early game, and they should be fine. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Danelie, and we'll both be right back for Game 2 between TNC and 123. Don't go anywhere.